Anybody know what this is? It's a little James Brown. All right. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I have to do a little bit of an off-the-cuff recap because our internet's not working because I have no idea why. So I'm not going to be able to show you some charts. So I want to play a little song about living in America because I think a lot of us take it for granted. All right, maybe I shouldn't go that way. People don't like politics. I'm just going to go a little off the cuff with the markets. So here we are. It's Thursday, right? We started the week, and a lot of people weren't sure what to expect. We had the horrific terrorist attacks in Paris. There's also been some raids, some ambulances that might have had big explosives, and more soccer stadiums evacuated. And P.S. the markets had a pretty strong week. You'll turn on the TVs and they'll be like the S&P was up 3% or so for the week, the Nasdaq was up 4%, bios had a bounce, et cetera, when everyone was making like the world was going to fall apart over the weekend, which we had a very horrific event that we can't take lightly, and we got to go out and get those friggin' who's. And even today, everyone, there was a video about them blowing up Times Square, and then another one in the White House, and still the market's held in there, and everyone's like, how does this happen? So, the whole thing with the market is you don't really know what's going to happen. You need to look at the headlines and see the market reaction. And, when we came into this week, the oscillators were like minus 50, meaning probably a good high probability play to get long. Okay, especially combine that with a red dog reversal like we saw, at SPX 2022. I'm just going to rattle off pivot areas and stocks, and if you do watch this very closely, it'll mean something to you. If you just tuned in for the first day, I'm probably talking a lot of gibberish. And as far as the way the markets reacted this week, I thought it was a much better trading week than other rallies. Why did I think it was a better trading week? Because you had your reversal on Monday, right? Nice reversal, gave you a chance to buy them, because remember the futures were up a little bit and then it toyed with that pivot. Then you had a strong close Monday, and then on Tuesday you had a push, day and a half long trade, and they didn't have a huge day on Tuesday, right? We pushed, I think, to 2,000 on the S&P. What was it? 2,066. You could have a chart in front of you. This is my visual. I may not be able to remember to take out the garbage on Tuesdays or Thursdays or do the laundry, but I'll remember numbers. Just don't tell my wife. So 2066 is where we ran to, and then paused, and then at 1 o'clock came back in. So nice move from 2022 to 2066. Then on Wednesday we had the Fed day. You had a basic flat open, and then we took out 2066 in the SPX and went to above 2085. And then today, futures are up a little bit coming into the morning call. Could have sold some of your longs if you took them out after the Fed minutes. And then today you had somewhat of an inside day after hitting as high as almost 2,090, which was where we broke down from 2 weeks ago when we broke the accelerated trend. So, these pivot points for action, were pretty spot on this week. And if you had a plan and you have a process like we do here, you could have avoided the noise and traded a little bit better. Because if you remember on Monday, we weren't sure what high beta names were going to do, and all of a sudden, boom, you had Amazon hold the 21-day, I think 622. Okay, you had Google hold its 21-day. You had Facebook actually break below the 21-day. I think it hit 155 and then reclaimed that 101.50 area that we put the chart there. And then today went as high as 108 before pulling back. So nice, buy the dip trade on top of that short, and that could use a rest. And then lo and behold, Apple, right? Apple, I love to trade it when it's on the move. And Monday looked horrendous. It was below 112, reclaimed 112.27. I think that was the pivot. And listen, guys, there's no teleprompter in front of me. I could close my eyes. So it took back the pivot at 112.27, and then closed strong, gave you a small down day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Goldman Sachs upgraded Apple. I'm not looking at anything. This is just thoughts in the head. And I said if it holds the gap, buy versus the gap, which I think the gap was 115.50. You could have bought 116s. Yesterday, it didn't do much, and then I posted a chart on Twitter. using the force. Where's Yoda? Yoda's right over here telling me in my ear. I actually have something in my ear telling me where the levels are. No, I don't. And and then today, you could have bought above 117, I think 50, and then the gap was what 118.07, and I tweeted that I was done with the trade at 119.40, and I think it went as high as 119.75. So lots of things to do across the board. The banks probably in line. Today the bios were off a little bit. I think the IBBs were down 4 or 5 points after a 20-point move. The IWMs were down 50 cents, no big deal. Oil was a little weaker, the XLE was a little weaker, but everything took it in stride. So overall, I'd say a very constructive week with a lot of things to do, a lot of tactics, that you could have had at your fingertips, whether it was from the morning call, the recap, the charts that we post, my morning note, off the charts, whatever it is. Use your resources, because your resources are what's going to help you put together your game plan. I think on Tuesday night I had a webinar with 1,000 people. At a 6:31, and then at 8 o'clock it was 10 o'clock, and you have to work hard. I think I slept in the back on the couch because I had to be back by 6:30 the next day. So it's been a long week, and if we could all pretty much power through it, there are things to do. So going into tomorrow, I'm not that compelled to do that much, considering 2020 to 2090 70 handles. Can we go higher? Yes. But can we digest here and see another inside day ahead of the weekend where maybe some people will think that there could be some kind of craziness with ISIS because they're all over the place with all these videos. So I don't know how much more we run away. You had a big move, like 60 points in Amazon, a big move in Google, even Netflix. Oh, Netflix. Let's see if I can remember the price points. Netflix did a red dog reversal on Monday at 103.25. It took out the 115 pivot on Tuesday, extended on Wednesday. Today, it traded above 121, which was yesterday's high, hit 123, came back below 121 and closed at 120.24. Maybe that happened. Write all that down. If you want, you could tweet at me and yell at me. I might have been off by a few pennies, but that's a hell of a move, but it gave you the clues that the action was there. And then even Baidu broke above 120, went to 124.50, gave you a second day. We talked about, wrong Baidu. 200, remember that offer that was there? If you're on the VTF, there was a big offer, 200, big offer. Then it went to 204.50, then gave you another day. We talked about in the morning call that you could see some resistance around 210. You probably should sell some there. I tweeted that I sold, I think, closer to 207. So if I can remember these price points using the force, you could watch the morning call, the recap, use the charts, write them all down, create a game plan, and navigate around it. And at this point, again, we had a very tight, did I say tight? Yeah, I said tight range today. So we'll see tomorrow. Do we break above Spider's high today, which I believe was like 209, or do we break below 208.50 and retest that 207-ish area, and then continue on through Thanksgiving, which is next week, which I love Thanksgiving. My parents come to town. I'm in charge of the turkey. I go traditional. I don't fry it. I'm going to take it out of the freezer on Monday. And if you email me, scott@t3live.com, that's scott@t3live.com, I'll give you my turkey recipe. And if you email me and ask me for the recipe, take the initiative, maybe I'll even give you 2 weeks free to Redler All Access because it is the holiday time. So tomorrow I'll be in Short Hills. I will post a few charts on my Twitter because that will work, so I could give you some of the visuals. And thanks for dealing with me on today's recap because, unless you had a few glasses of wine or a few beers, you probably tuned me out already. And if you're still watching, you must really like this shiny forehead and the babbling that I do. And I appreciate that because we all work hard, and I'm trying to put you guys in a position to win. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.